frankly, DEC has misled the public about the regulatory problems, and now that we know about them, we've got to basically resolve these issues before fracking is allowed in New York.
An environmental researcher exposes public documents which he says indicate shortcomings in regulating oil and gas drilling. This is leading to questions of whether the agency is equipped to regulate hydrofracking in the state. Good evening, I'm Renata Steele.
I'm Scott Cook. Thanks for choosing Twin Tiers tonight in high definition. Now, with all these questions, we went straight to the sources and talked to both sides of this issue.
WENY TV's Melissa Pirelli spoke to the DEC and the man who crunched the numbers. Melissa.
Renata, Walter Hang of Ithaca runs an environmental database firm. He says DEC documents citing water contamination and unplugged wells lead him to believe the agency is not ready to start fracking. But a DEC spokeswoman says the state is ready to impose comprehensive monitoring and inspection programs if fracking moves forward in the state.
With thousands of unplugged wells, massive dumping of toxic brine into pits, drinking water contamination. So against that background, we've really got to start all over again.
Walter Hang is president of Toxics Targeting. He says DEC documents show ongoing pollution problems in more than 4,000 unplugged wells in the state, which pose a public health risk.
And until they figured out how to do fracking safely, the shale gas moratorium has to remain in effect.
In a written statement, the DEC said, quote, by and large, complaints received by DEC regarding potentially leaking wells have proven to be from wells drilled before environmental regulations were put in place or were from naturally occurring sources of contamination. I also called the DEP in Pennsylvania, where Marcellus shale drilling has been going on for years, and the agency has adjusted and added hundreds of staff to oversee hydrofracking wells. A spokesman shared some advice for his New York counterparts.
One of the pieces of the advice there is to get open communication with the industry, with the supply chain, and really make sure that everybody is on board with an idea that this needs to be done right, or we're not going to be doing it.
The DEC says they've identified more than 4,000 orphaned and abandoned wells that do pose a risk to public health. The agency says they've plugged hundreds of those wells in the past decade, and they continue to do so. Live in the studio, Melissa Pirelli, WENY TV News.